don't know about all of you, but I've had just about enough of being called a racist simply for my skin color. There's a word for that. I believe the term is racism. It's bad enough to have to deal with that when you're a person who's clearly not racist, which is the majority of people. But then you have tons of athletes, primarily from the NFL and NBA, telling the rest of us that they're not disrespecting the flag or the national anthem by taking a knee during the national anthem. These athletes tell us that we just didn't understand why people like Colin Kaepernick were protesting in the first place. Well, I call bullshit, because people understood for the most part that he was protesting against both police brutality against black people and the treatment of black people in general in the U.S. These athletes, both black and white, can say these protests aren't about the flag while guilting people into unwarranted apologies all they want. If we go by Kaepernick's own words, after he first knelt during the anthem in a 2016 preseason game, the flag and this country are precisely what these protests are about. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on this edition of Out of Left Field for MRC-TV. I'm Nick Kangadis. I'm not going to waste your time or mine. Let's get straight to Kaepernick's own words. Quote, "When there's significant change and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent in this country, I'll stand." Unquote. But wait. I thought it wasn't about the flag or disrespecting the national anthem or the country in general, and yet it absolutely is. If it was just about police brutality against the black community, then why have we seen a good portion of the protests and even a memorial turn into an Orange Man Bad rally?
You take rubber bullets and tear gas to clear out peaceful protesters, and then take a Bible and walk in front of a church and use a church as a prop. Wickedness in high places.
Here's the thing. Even if these protests from athletes were just about police brutality, they're still choosing to make their voices heard during the national anthem, which is also a time to be respectful of the flag. These spoiled, overpaid babies in pro sports have so many different platforms to have their voices be heard at their disposal, way more than the average person would ever dream of having. Even if the average person has a lot of the same platforms to voice their opinions, they don't have the built-in following that pro athletes have. Yet despite having all of those enhanced avenues to bring awareness to whatever their cause might be, they continue to use the national anthem as their primary platform to voice their displeasure. As a pro athlete, they could call press conferences, which would bring a greater focus to their cause. They could protest during halftime. They could protest during post-game interviews. They could protest on one of the many social media platforms they're on. They could release a video on YouTube that would not only bring attention to their cause, but it would give them unlimited time to convey their message. But they still decide to protest during the national anthem. Why? Because Kaepernick was smart enough to know that it would be controversial enough to divide the audience and cause enough of a commotion to bring attention to himself, which is, no matter what anybody wants to say, one of his motives. If he was so intent on playing football again, he wouldn't have sabotaged his workout last year to get back into the NFL. He wouldn't have requested an exorbitant salary to play in the XFL when he knew it was a new league that couldn't pay players top dollar. He would have apologized for his activist girlfriend posting a racist meme about the people who were trying to bring him into the Baltimore Ravens a couple of years ago.
Then his girl goes out and puts out this racist gesture and doesn't know.
To be clear, whose girl, whose lady?
Colin Kaepernick. That she doesn't know. We're in the back office about to try to get this guy to sign. Steve Bisciotti said himself, how can you crucify Ray Lewis when Ray Lewis is the one calling for Colin Kaepernick?
We've talked about Kaepernick so much over the last few years. I'm really sick and tired of this loser. And the guy simply doesn't warrant the pub, no matter how many media personalities, athletes, celebrities, politicians, and fellow activists want to prop this guy up as a martyr while he rakes in 7 figures from Nike for not being an athlete anymore. future Hall of Fame quarterback Drew Brees was basically shamed into apologizing more than once for saying that he would, quote, never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America, unquote.
I know there's not much that I can say that would make things any better right now, but I just want you to see in my eyes how sorry I am for the comments that I made yesterday. I know that it hurt many people.
Even his wife came out after he apologized and said, "We are the problem," in reference to white people. No, Mrs. Brees, I don't know who this "we" is that you speak of, but don't lump people in who aren't racist with the people you're talking about just so you can score points with your husband's teammates and the league. There is nothing wrong with what Brees said, nothing at all. He apologized because NFL activists like Malcolm Jenkins complained that Brees missed the point of the protest since they're not about the flag.
Honestly, if at this point in time in 2020 people don't understand what the protest is about, then they are blatantly trying to ignore it. So I try not to waste my time talking about the anthem or thing because it's a distraction from the actual issues that are plaguing our black and brown communities, the things that we need to get fixed.
Well, Jenkins might want to take that up with Kaepernick because their martyr's own words conflict with their take of the situation. And I'm tired of this crap. I said it before at the top, and I'll say it again. I am tired of this crap. Really tired of it. I'm not a racist, and I'm tired of having to defend myself against being one. And odds are that the vast majority of you aren't either, no matter how many times race hustlers like Al Sharpton tell you. People of all races would be able to get along just fine if it weren't for the likes of Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and Colin Kaepernick. At this point, I've been called a racist so many times for no reason other than I don't fall in line with the left's divisive dogma and by people who don't actually listen to my words. When you're called that enough times by people that don't understand common sense, logic, and reason, their labels don't mean much. You won't be hearing an apology from me anytime soon, and to be honest, they can think I'm a racist all they want. It doesn't make it true. Before I go, I just want to reiterate that all of these protesters can tell you all they want that these protests aren't about the flag and that we never understood why Kaepernick did what he did. Well, I understand perfectly fine because I actually listen when other people speak instead of having preconceived notions and narratives that were fed to me by the media, politicians, and other people that couldn't care less about you or me. Kaepernick said it himself, and I'll say it again, quote, "When there's significant change and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent in this country, I'll stand," unquote. Well, all right then. I'll take your word for it. What do all of you out there think? Am I way off on this? Let me know in the comments where I try to respond to a few here and there. I'm really interested in what you think. And don't forget to check out my page on Facebook. If you like this video, don't forget to share it and give it a thumbs up. Those are the two best ways to let us know you want us to keep these videos coming. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that YouTube might let you know when MRC-TV comes out with a new video. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kangadis.